Aloha, Richard Halverson here. This is ITS388J, and this is about the 4th week. This is the 5th week, so let me share my screen. Let's look at the calendar here. And although we are in the 5th week, I still have not finished the challenge exercises in the 3rd week. So, doesn't matter, I'll catch up, but I guess I'm a couple weeks behind. I could go into the 4th week and 5th week and talk about some of that stuff, but I think I'd like to just keep things in order. So let's just do the rest of chapter 3. So where we ended up in chapter 3, if you go look at the last video, we ended up, if you look at this, scroll all the way to the end, it looks like 3.12 is the challenge activity, Boolean branch assignments, and branching statements. So so this is 313, and I'm just going to try to jam through the challenges here. So make sure you go through these so you understand what string equality means, and you already know that. This is you already know all this. All right, here's a challenge. Let me see. This is in 313. And so write an if else statement that prints goodbye if the user string is quit. Otherwise it prints hello, and end with a new line. So okay, so you read in, and it's going to be, what you read in is going to be stored in there, and then you're supposed to write the solution. And I guess if you say if the user string that uses, we should just review here. Compared to is used if you're comparing, if you want to do greater than or less than, and you can compare it to ignore case. And then if you just want to test equality, you use this, equals. So you're testing if this word is equal to this. And if it is, this returns true. If it's not, this returns false. So we're going to use this thing. It's going to look like this. So I'm just going to copy this and go down to here and put this right here. And I'm going to say if user string equals goodbye, if the user string equals quit, it prints goodbye. Otherwise it prints hello. And it ends with a new line. Ends with a new line, ends with a new line. Okay, this is my solution. Very good. What's the next one? Print the 2 strings, this one and this one, in alphabetical order. Assume the strings are lowercase and end with a new line. Okay, so we have the same kind of thing here. Well, okay. No, let's go up here. We have something that looks like, no, I guess we don't. We don't really have an example here, but we're going to use these compare to things. So let me just so I can have some kind of structure. So I'm going to just copy this just because I just always like to start change it to fix it rather than starting from scratch. So here we're going to do if first string compare to second string end with new line. I wonder why that's lowercase. Okay, so if first string is less than second string, then we want to print first string first. So we would print first string so I don't know if I'm going to get this right because I don't really quite completely understand the new line thing. Print the two strings. Do I put new lines after each one? Well, I don't know. I'm going to do first string, then second string, then second string. Otherwise, do the opposite. Otherwise, do it this way. Print second string first, and then print first string second. Yeah, that's what I think it is. All right, let's see what I got here. Oh, this has got to be, if it's less than 0, it's not a Boolean, it doesn't return a Boolean, it returns like a negative number or a 0 or a positive number. So if it's a negative number, if this is bigger than that, I think it, okay, so I'm not sure if it's negative or positive. So if string 1 is less than string 2, then it returns a negative number. So I wanted to do the minus less than 0. Less than 0. Okay. Well, you can fix it. Okay. All right, what's next? String access operations. Okay, so if you want to access a string, okay, this just makes sure you know that you start counting at 0 instead of starting to count at 1. Everybody knows that. So you use this character at method that comes along with strings. And so that's how you reference or refer to each individual characters. Each individual character. So anyway, you should know that adding a period to a caption if no punctuation. Okay, this is so what this does is this, you type in something and it looks at the very last character, and if the very last character is not a period or an exclamation point or a question mark, then it adds a period. Okay, silly. So first of all, this is what the index of the last character is. It's going to be the length of the string minus 1. And this is how you get to that character, and this does a test. You know, in Python, we emphasize this, you know, minus 1, the index is the length minus 1. We emphasize that a lot more, so it becomes more natural to us. But anyway, all right, so here's another assign the size of user input to string size. So string size equals user input dot some method. Oh, length. Where was that? Length. That's what it is. Length. So I'm just gonna guess this. And the next one is write an expression to detect that the first character of user input matches the first letter. Okay, so this is the user input, and this is the, and then it reads what the first character is, and then you're supposed to say if first character let's see, I think you can just use an equal sign. Yeah, I think you can use, yeah, you can. Okay, characters, just do that. Okay, so I'm just gonna do I'm gonna do if first letter equals user input dot CHARAT 0. Okay, so 315 character operations. The character class provides several methods for working with characters. Characters are different than strings. So this tests if a character is equal. Each method must prepend each method must prepend this, as in this. Yeah. So, all right. So anyway, these are these return true or false if it's equal to these things. This returns this returns true or false if oh, I see. Okay, so this is the actual name of the class that you're using, and this is just a method of this class that you're using. And so this, for example, tests if this letter is equal to whatever you put inside of it. No. This tests if whatever you put inside of it is a letter. This tests if whatever you put inside of it is a digit, so on, if it's white space. Anyway, and this will return something. This will return whatever you put in there. It'll return it as uppercase if it's a letter, or lowercase in this other case. All right, so that's okay. So that's string with digit. Okay, so set has digit true if the 3-letter character passcode contains a digit. Well, I don't know if got 3 characters. If passcode dot character at 0, character dot is digit then if that's true, has digit as digit no, I'm going to be even. Well, okay. This works. Okay, I claim that should work. Let's see if it does. What am I missing? Oh, I'm missing this. All right, does this work? Now I also want to see if this works. Has digit equals this or this. I can do this, I think. This or this or this. So the idea is this or this or this is going to return true or false. I think I don't want too many of these. And then so this is going to return, this is going to be equal to true or false, and that's what we store there. So let's see if this works. Yeah, that works too. Okay, all right, great. All right, this is alphabetic detect. Write code to print the location of any alphabetic character in a 2-digit string passcode. Each alphabetic character detected should print a separate statement. Use 2 statements to check each of the 2 characters in the string. Use same character is letter. Oh yeah, okay. If this, if this character at 0, if that's true, then print. Well, then we have to do the system. I can never remember that. This. If that's true, then print out I'm supposed to detect alphabetic. It's okay. Print this. Alphabetic at 0. At 0. And this will print it out if there's 1 at 1. See if this works. All right, what's next? I wonder if it actually sends something back to a server and then it's got to execute back there. Probably. Otherwise, why would it take so long? Oh, nice. All right. So the next one is 316, and that's character operations. This is to return. This is going to return the index. This looks into user text and will return the index of this letter. So it's going to be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever, and it's this 3 because index 3, 0, 1, 2, 3 is the P. Index of this is if you want to find like the second one, first you find the first one, and then you put the index of the first one there, and then this means start looking, you know, just past this one, so that way you can keep on finding the next ones. This will find the index starting at the back on the end and going, you know, back in. And this, of course, returns a substring starting at an index all the way to the end. And this returns a substring starting at an index to an ending index. And it does not including the end index. So it's like kind of like Python. It's from start index up to, but not including the end index. So that's kind of different than substrings in common substring methods in other languages, because oftentimes the second argument is a count instead of an ending index. All right. So this here is, for example, how you find the username part of an email address. You want to find where the @ sign is, and that's going to be there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to get the substring from 0 up to that, but not including the index of the @ symbol. All right, so and these are also methods that can be used to modify the string. It doesn't really modify the string, it returns the result of doing that operation. So this in itself does not concatenate friend on the end of user text. What this does is this takes user text, concatenates the word friend onto it, and it returns that. It returns it. And then that returned string gets stored back into user text here. Okay, so anyway. And this will replace, it finds a string and replaces it with another string. So these are kind of interesting. This is returns a copy of the new string that is a copy of string 1 with string 2 appended, and so on. Strings are considered immutable, and that's because, and so that's why you don't really change. You can't really change some value inside of a string. You can only use it to produce another string using one of these methods that comes along with it. So, and the other thing that means is that when you pass a string, a string to a method to do some stuff, the method cannot modify the string. So you're passing a value, you're not passing a reference. All right. So what's here? Combining strings. Assign secret ID with first name, space, and last name. If first name is Barry and the last name is Allen, then the output is Barry Allen. Okay, so we're just supposed to put secret ID equals first name plus space plus last name. Is that all? Should I use the word concat? Thought I could do this. Well, anyway, I'm gonna see if this works. All right, the next one is modify song verse to play the name game by replacing this with the username, but without the first letter. Oh. Okay, so in other words, if the username is Caitlin, the song verse is banana fana fo Fateman, I guess. Oh, Fateman. Oh, I remember that song. I was really young when that song was popular. I was like in grade school, or I was just really small. But anyway, if the username Caitlin and Fee5 Mo Maitland. Supposed to do both of them? Does it say which one? I got to see what the solution to this one is. 316. I don't quite understand the. Ah, I see. First you read the name, then you read the song verse. Okay, well, that seems pretty hard. Okay, so first you read the name. Oh, and this is the first name without the first letter. Okay, so it's already. Then this is the song verse. This is the song verse. Okay. Oh. So I'm supposed to replace parentheses, name, and parentheses with whatever this is. Okay, so I got the song verse, and I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do song verse. Song verse equals song verse dot place parentheses. Is it source destination? Place. Darn with that. Okay, so it's replace the find string with the replacement string. Find the find string, which is name. Replace that with username with the first letter removed, and then print it out. Okay, run. Let's do Walter. Walter, banana, Walter, whatever. Okay, so what's next? Index 1230. Using index of. Okay, so print censored if the user input contains the word darn. Otherwise, just print it out. And with a new line. So in other words, if the user inputs that darn cat, then the output is censored. Oh, if it contains at all, okay. Okay, so user input is if user input dot index of darn is greater than, assume if it's not in there, it's going to be minus. So if it's greater than or equal to 0, then we print censored. System I'm going to do this. If darn is in there, I'm just going to make user input equals censored. Okay, how's that? And then I'm going to print it out by going system out print line. Sorry. Oh yeah, system out print line. User input. Okay. See if that works. What do you know? All right. Conditional expressions. So are there any 3.17? Yes, there is a challenge in here. Okay, conditional expressions. What is so? Conditional, enter the output of the code. Okay. This is so simple. Okay, oh, it's one of these. Oh yeah, that kind of expression. So that's new. This is a new kind of expression. It's called this. Okay, when the condition, and this is what you do when it's true, and this is what you do when it's false. Oh, it's the expression. Oh, this must be on the left side of the assignment statement. This. Okay, this must be on the left side of the assignment statement. The right side of the assignment. This must be on the right side of the assignment statement. Yeah, it looks like this. So this thing executes, this thing is evaluated, and the way it's evaluated is if x is equal to 2, then it evaluates to 5, otherwise it evaluates to 9 times x. All right, fantastic. So what is this now? If it started up, If so, okay, my number is equal to 9, and if my number is greater than or equal to 9, then this whole thing evaluates to 4. And here we print it out, and so it's going to print out a 4. Okay, let's do this hard one. Your number is going to evaluate to, okay, my number's 5. Is my number less than 7? Yes, it is. So we're going to do this one. And this is going to evaluate to my number minus 8. So it's going to take my number, which is 5. It's going to subtract 8 from it. It's going to equal minus 3. And your number ends up equaling minus 3. So minus 3. Okay. Okay, that's pretty cool. Create a conditional expression that evaluates to string negative. Negative if the user value is less than, or non-negative otherwise. So if so it's going to be just something like if what user value, if user value val is less than 0, then we want to I guess you put a question mark, huh? The first one is going to be negative. Otherwise non-negative. Okay. All right. Let's see. This one is using a conditional expression. Write a statement that increments number of users if this is 1. Otherwise, it decrements. Okay, so if what's getting updated is num users. So I got to put num users on the left-hand side of an assignment statement. And depending on if update direction is equal to 1, if update direction is equal to 1, then we want to increment num users plus 1. Otherwise, we want to decrement num users minus 1. All right. Okay, last one, floating point comparison, a little bit different. Okay, so for floating point comparison, you want to avoid using the equality sign because of having to change numbers from decimal to binary. They can be off by just a little bit amount, and it ends up not thinking you're thinking two numbers are equal when really are. You end up thinking two numbers are not equal when really they are. So so you want to avoid that, and so what are we supposed to do here now? So if this is not okay, okay, so I'm going to say false or what? Okay, do I say false for this one too? Yeah. Double that, is that okay? Geez, I don't know. No, it's not okay. Given integers, yes, integers is okay. Doubles, no. Okay, so so I guess what you can do is you measure it by, if the body temperature minus this is less than this, if the absolute value of the body temperature and 98.6 is less than 0.0001, then the temperature is exactly normal. Otherwise, if it's greater, you can do this. If it's less, then you can do this. All right, so make sure you understand that, but you don't get any points for clicking through those. You do for this though, and this is write an expression that will cause the following code to print equal if the value is close enough. And for close enough, you can use that. Okay, so if so how did we do that again? We did some sort of absolute value thing, right? This. Something that looks like this. I'm just going to copy this. Go down here. Oh, I just put something right in there. Is that all? Okay, I guess I'm going to copy this. Copy that. Put it here. And this number is going to be the same as this number. It is. And sensor reading is close enough to target value. So sensor reading is close enough to target value. And it doesn't matter if we put sensor reading minus target value or we put target value minus sensor reading, of course, because we're taking the absolute value. And we just have to make sure that when we subtract those two from each other, take the absolute value, that it's less than that. If it's less than that, then we are going to, by gosh, say that they're equal. Otherwise, we're going to say close enough. What? That's close enough. Oh. No, I guess we don't change anything. All right. Well, okay. All right. 319, we don't have any challenge activities, so you can look through this. Oh, this talks about short circuit evaluation, where if you have, if you're using the double operand, the ampersand, ampersand, or the or, then if it's evaluating this and this is false, then it doesn't even bother evaluating this because it already knows the whole thing is false. And for here, if it evaluates this and that's true, it doesn't even bother evaluating this because then it already knows the thing is true. That's short circuit evaluation. And it matters because sometimes you might do something where this actually executes something like do something plus plus or something, and if this, so you have to be careful. All right, so there's nothing in 320, there's nothing in 321, and let's see, it is 1247. Do I have what I need to do seasons? I guess I can do seasons. Wow. All right, I'll get you started with seasons. Looks like there's a lot of code you got to write, but it's kind of replicating kind of stuff. All right, 3.22 seasons. So what this is you might remember this if you had this textbook for the Python version, is write a program that takes a date as input and then outputs the date's season in the Northern Hemisphere. The input is a string to represent the month and an int to represent the day. So if the input is month, day, if the input is this, it outputs spring, if so on. If it inputs something that it doesn't understand, it's going to output the word invalid. And these are the periods of the seasons. So so you're going to have something like if the month, if the input month is equal to, I guess we can do, well, I guess we should do this equals, we should use this equals method. If input month equals January, and let's see, January, there's no January, January is not listed anywhere, or January is not a month where it's a crossover from one season to another season. So there only needs to be one check for January. That's always going to be winter time. So if the input month equals January, we can just say, oh, we got to validate I guess we have to validate the input date. Do we have to validate the input date? I guess we should, let's invalidate the input date also. If that equals that, and input day is greater than or equal to 1, and the input day is less than or equal to 31. If all that is true, then we're going to print system. We can do it this way if we want to. Print line winter. Okay, so that takes care of else if. And then we're going to do February. So there's going to be one for February. And that got to make sure this is right too. And I guess we can do input day is greater than or equal to 1. You know what I'm going to do. If input day is greater than or equal to 1, then do all this other stuff. And that way I don't have to check it every time. Input day is less than or equal to 29. Yeah, because it could be, if that's true, then do something. All right. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to close this. and type invalid. I guess I should get that nice. Okay, so that's going to close out this outside if statement. And inside, we're going to have, I don't need this more. January input day is less than 31. It's that. February input day is less than 31. It's also winter. And then March is a little different. March looks like this. If this equals March, and the input day is less than or equal to 19, it's less than or equal to 19, then it's winter. And then, or I can do this. If it's less than or equal to March and input day is greater than or equal to 19. No, if it's less than or equal to 19, it'll catch it here. So here I just need to do less than or equal to 31. Yeah. Because if it's less than or equal to 19, it'll catch it here. And so this becomes spring. And then we go, and spring is going to include March and then April and then May. And then the first part of June. And then after that, it's going to go to okay, so this is going to be March. This is April. And there's January, February, March. There's only 30 days in April. And then May, all of May is spring. And June up until the 20th, 21st, yeah, the 20th, less than or equal to 20th. And then we start over again, and June less than or equal to 31. April, May, yeah, it's 31. June is 31. It's going to be summer. All right. So anyway, this is how you start this one. I think you should be able to finish this. Let's see what happens when we just run. If we run, you know, February 28, it's gonna. Okay, string input month. I guess we have to read these things in, and we didn't do that, did we? So that would be input system. We want to read these things in. So I want to get you started good here. So input month equals scanner dot next, and then just whatever comes in, and then input day equals scanner next int. It's an integer that comes in. And now when we run this, We see it up. It's winter. If we input March 19th. March 19th is still winter. And March 20th, however, is spring. So you should be able to do, you see how we do it? So you should be able to do July, August, so you should be able to do the rest. All right, it is 12:58. I'm gonna leave the rest to you. And next video, we will start with chapter 4. All right, thanks for watching.